I was searching through a storage tub the other day and I came across this, my old Walkman. Or rather, I should say, it was my mom's. And then it got me thinking, I wonder if this thing actually still even works. So I did a little bit of research and I did find out that this is a Walkman from 1984. Now I did kind of already know that, considering that's when I remember basically stealing it from my mom and playing all of my tapes as a kid. And just like any other Walkman from the era, it has the basic controls, volume. You could change the tape to metal or regular. There you can see it's the WM8. I guess that stands for Walkman 8. Maybe that's the 8th version of it. And this also has the basic controls: play, fast forward, rewind, and the stop function there also has this tape flippy thing that I guess flips the tape out, you'll see here. And on the back you'll notice the door for the 4 AA batteries, and also those 2 posts at the top. Those are for a strap that would come with the Walkman. I remember hating this as a kid, so I took it off, and I'm sure this is long lost, nowhere to be seen. Here's a picture from the internet so you can see what it did look like. Now, interestingly enough, I found another picture of this same model, and you'll notice that maple leaf there. Apparently that was the Canadian version. The US version, you'll see, has the star, which I found really interesting. I didn't know that until now. So getting back to the does this thing even work, let's throw some batteries in and find out. Now there's the serial number, and try as I may, I was not able to find a reliable serial number data online for these things. Regardless, I do know that this is from 1984. The batteries are in, let's close it up and see if it works. And to my surprise, it actually works. Now you can't really see it, but the fast forward and rewind is actually going much faster than what it looks like. I think the frame rate makes it look slow. This thing probably hasn't been on since 1989 when I got a Sony Discman, so I'm actually really impressed. So now it's time to see if this can work with a tape. I've chosen something from the same year, 1984. Here's some Bryan Adams. So let's see how it does. It's definitely warbly, and it looks like I'm having some audio problems with the jack itself. So from what I see here, there's a loose jack and a worn out belt. I didn't really bother doing any research on opening these up because, to be honest, I really don't have anything to lose. I don't really have a need for tapes. So I just took a shot at it and kind of blindly am opening this up. And once the screws were out, it actually opened up pretty easily, as you'll see here. So first I'm going to take a look at this audio jack, and you can kind of see here, I'll see if I can get in a little closer, the soldering has some gaps in it, and that's what's making it loose. So I'm going to start there for the first part of this repair. So I'm going to try and melt the original solder around this to see if I can make it a little better instead of introducing anything new. So let me see if this works first. Unfortunately, it's just kind of blobbing up in place and not really surrounding the contact. There's another contact in the back, and I'm going to try and basically do the same thing, but really it's not surrounding the rest of the contact. So I think I'm going to have to introduce some new solder. I'm really not this shaky. It appears that way because I do have a light and a camera right in front of my face. So it's a little hard working around this, but you see I do get the solder on there, no problem. Here you can see the contacts are clearly soldered much better, no more gaps, and I'll wiggle it here and you'll see that it doesn't move anymore. So now I'm going to turn my attention to this belt, and this is a pretty common problem for pretty much any old tape deck. The belts just lose their elasticity, and they just need to be replaced. So I thought I'd be all clever and see if I could just tension up the motor portion that's under there, and no, I cannot. It simply just needs a new belt. Most tape decks have more than one belt, but the main culprit is typically the drive belt. So that's why you usually see these belts come in little sets. Just search for your model tape deck and usually you'll see lots of options for belts. Now it's time to remove the old belt and replace it with a new one. And pretty much do what you did in reverse. When you remove the old one, the new one goes in its place. Just make sure you've got the routing the same. So now it's time to reassemble and see if I was able to fix this thing. And of course, reassembly is just disassembly in reverse. As I was putting the batteries back in, I unfortunately snapped a piece off of the side. I wasn't even really pushing that hard. It is just a 34-year-old piece of plastic that's pretty brittle. Anyway, it really shouldn't affect the functionality, but I guess we'll see. Sounds pretty solid. Audio's coming out all right. Seems like the belt worked. Looks like this project is complete. Anyway, this is a pretty cool piece of old technology, so I might actually go through my old tape bin and see if I can enjoy a few of the oldies.